GGR, Good Governance Radio. Good Governance Radio.
Your systems are offline.
This is the Good Governance Radio. GGR. Stay with us.
Good day, everybody. Good day, my followers. Good day, followers of Good Governance Radio. My name is Stella Marachi Mugochukwu, the founder of Efficient Grace for the Hopeless Foundation. I am talking to you live from Good Governance Radio. I am here once again, as promised. You know, we've been out all this while, but today we said we must break all odds to be here and talk to you once again. Remember, it's still all salad. Have you eaten salad today? No, it's not that kind of salad. I want to ask you, have you been able to save a life today? Operation Save a Life a Day. Operation Save a Life a Day. That is all salad. So if you love salad, why don't you just make it a habit to save a life? Saving a life will give you more joy, more happiness, more fulfillment. So I think it's better we save a life. And when you're saving a life, and if over 200 million people that are in this country decide to save one person a day, I urge you and I assure you that all of us will be fine. Think about the next person near you, and you find out that the world is a better place. I am talking to you live from Good Governance Radio. Please, while we continue, while you call your friends to join us, why you alert one other person near you or call on phone to tell somebody Efficient Grace is online, why don't you just click share, copy the link, share it, send it to somebody? Because what we'll be talking about today will interest you, and it may be a savior to that relation that is battling one thing or the other in his or her marriage. And I assure you that after today, you'll be happy, and you'll be happy that you did listen to us. You're still listening to me live from Good Governance Radio. We'll take a short break before I tell you what this topic today is all about. Thank you. Welcome back to the show. Today, I want to take us on a topic I titled domestic violence. You know, when we talk about domestic violence, it takes many forms, it takes many shapes, it's in different kind. Domestic violence is one of the pandemic things that is, happening in our society outside the lapses we have in other forms of existence. Domestic violence is something that is eating deep into our society. It could be physical, sexual, it could be emotional, and it could be mental. It could be traditionally, it could be. When we talk of domestic violence, it's a whole lot imbibed together. So some comes in form of traditional ways of treating women. Some come in form of mental slavery. Some come in form of physical or sexual or emotional abuse. So domestic violence is a whole lot, but we're going to just trash a bit about it and just to get you aware and how we can help the next generation and the generation that we're into. So domestic violence is committed mostly against women. Even though this generation has become something else, that you find out that women are becoming more domineering, and most women don't want to submit these days. Most women they said is equality, but equality is not about being violent. It's not about abusing the next person. When we use soft words, when we use soft actions, we can still pass a message. We mustn't be violent in order to tell somebody that this thing is not right. We can pass messages in love. Everything is not about violence. It's not about making troubles and all of that. But the most common form of domestic violence that we witness is that of emotional and I will call it physical violence, because that one is rampant in our society. You see husband killing wife, wife killing husband, caregivers killing their caregivers. People take people's children for house help and they end up killing them. These are all domestic violence, but it's not something that we should just say, maybe it's accidental or it's something that is destiny. It's not destiny. It's not destiny. It's something that we can avoid by educating the next person about love. Remember, I'm your number one love giver. So when I talk about love, I have practiced it for years, and I read a part of a scripture that talks more about love, and that's 1 Corinthians 13. It talks more about love. It illustrated what genuine love is. And after reading it, I read it for complete 1 year. Every day I read that particular verse, and I did it for complete 1 year. So it sank deep inside me that I know what is love and how it should be applied. So when we talk about domestic violence, it's violence that happens within us, in the family, within the home, where peace should be the paramount thing, where peace should reign. And we end up turning into a war zone. A brother doesn't want to see a sister, sister doesn't want to see a brother. Husband doesn't want to see the wife, wife doesn't want to see the husband. And instead of becoming a home, it becomes funju house of commotion. And this has so much thing to do with the society we see today. You see, domestic violence has a lot to do with the society we see today. You see, when I want to talk about domestic violence, the common forms of violence against women in Nigeria in particular, is one, rape, acid attack, molestation, wife beating, and corporal punishment. These ones are common in Nigeria. It's just so common that I would say 8%, let's say 8 in 10 families, they will tell you, I have seen my father verbally, physically, or emotionally abuse my mother, or something like that. Some hide it from their children, but we know just a very minute number of families in Nigeria do not, witness that domestic violence. And when you see families that doesn't have domestic violence, you see that their children are exceptional, because they're embodiment of love. The embodiment of love. So I don't know if we're talking about domestic violence. This generation were born out of hardness, stiffness, and all of that. So how will somebody who doesn't know about love preach love? How will somebody who has not witnessed genuine love, talk about love? So we should start to talk to people about love. When we talk of this physical abuse, physical violence, you see a man punching with your muscles, you're punching a woman. Dialogue can do a lot of things, dialogue. And you see, a man is talking to a woman and he say, if you say that thing again, I will slap you. And the woman will just go ahead to repeat that thing. Of what use? When you see that threat, if you say that thing again, I will slap you. Quietly walk away. You can avoid it. You can avoid it. Then you see somebody, some people even meditate it, think it, and execute it. When I mean meditate it, because for you to go and withdraw money from ATM, go to market and ask for where they sell acid, buy it and know how to preserve it because it's an explosive. I remember going to buy acid that I'm using in the laboratory in Onitsha, and when we're traveling from Onitsha to Ihiala, it exploded in the vehicle. So for you to go buy it, know how to keep it so that it's not going to explode, and you allow it to be in that house till the day the man will do you bad and you decided to pour it. It's a premeditated, you meditated it and you carried it out. So what amount of hate will be in you that you want to pay that kind of revenge instead of walking away? Nobody is tying you there with a rope. So why decide to take somebody else's life? Why decide to kill somebody? That anger that will make you so furious that you cannot endure nothing, but you can just leash it on a fellow human being. Why don't you face the wall and start punching the wall? By the time it pains you, you calm down. You calm your nerves. So I would advise those that beat their wives, and there are men that women beat. I've handled cases that is the woman that beats the man. He will finish beating this man. After beating him, she will be the one to fall on the ground and start shouting, "Neighbors, come." And neighbors will come and feel that is this man that is beating the wife. Until the son started to talk and was able to tell us what happened. But I thank God I wasn't so quick, because the way the woman was talking, I knew that this one is over this man. So please, I want us to build families in love. Start to teach people about love. The more we teach it, okay, somebody, I read a story today. Somebody is seeking advice that the husband goes to toilet, poo-poo, and walk away without flushing the toilet. And her work is to come and flush a full-fledged man's toilet after eating himself. Who does that? Who raised such a man? Who raised such a man? And what kind of human being with such monster race? You know what it means to behold somebody's fecal debris? That's so bad. And these are people that we call head of homes. Remember, the scripture says that if the head be destroyed, what shall the righteous do? Your father doesn't have sense. How will you have sense? One told me that I am a good husband, that my father used to beat my mother, but I grew up, I can never touch my wife. But you gave your wife instruction that no matter what happens, she cannot on the gem when you're not around. What kind of slavery is that? And tomorrow you say this woman is not supportive. When a woman is not free with you, you are in danger. I tell some men that the worst person to deal with or the worst person to fight is the woman that you live in the house with. Because women are dangerous. Very, very dangerous. That woman you're punching, something is registering in her head. Something is building up. That day she may tend to revenge the beatings and all of that. It will be an accumulated anger, accumulated bitterness, accumulated hate, and the way she will leash it, it will just lead to instant death of the man. So I am calling on us to, start to alert people that love is what will conquer domestic violence. Genuine love. I don't know how you say, but I don't believe that beating or corporal punishment is the solution to anything. I've seen people that they've even called army to beat because this child is stubborn and all of that. And after he beats, you're just helping that child to become more stubborn. And at long rise, when they feel that they've spoiled this child, they will now call efficient grace. Efficient grace, am I the miracle worker? You know, it's funny. When people say, come, we'll have one stubborn child. We know you can do it. Some will expect me to come with entourage of warlords, and I will laugh. And they'll just see me wear my nika and start coming because I love to wear my nika. I'll just come and then I'll say, where is the person? They will feel disappointed. We expect you to be G and you're looking so calm and so quiet. You know, he's just a gift God gave me. So I know what to tell that child. And that child will change from that day and will never remain the same. So it's not something we do by violence. And many of them that are following me are products of that little talk I give to them. And they don't play with me. So everything is not about violence. We can love overcometh all. That was what I read in the scripture, that you can win anybody with that genuine love. So please, let's start to preach love among our children, among husband and wife. Just genuinely, you know, to make your marriage work is something that you prepare yourself, prepare your mind, and decide. It's not something that magic does or you because you pray too much. It's a calculated work to make your family a happy home. It's a calculated work. So by the time we'll come back, I will want us to talk on what is the effect, and in fact, the first thing I want us to talk about is what are the causes of this domestic violence. As we take this break, I want you to call that person near you, copy this link, send to somebody, and let somebody tell the person that Efficient Grace is online and we're talking about domestic violence. I'm still with you on Good Governance Radio. You can still check us out on www.ggr.com, and you can still follow us on our YouTube, follow us on our page on Facebook, Efficient Grace for the Hopeless Foundation. And remember, the program is still O Salad, Operation Save a Life a Day. We'll meet you in the next few seconds. Thank you.
Computer systems are offline.
This is the Good Governance Radio. GGR. Stay with us.
Yes, welcome back. Number one love giver, Amarachi Mugo, live from Good Governance Radio, w.org.com. Are you there? Please copy the link, share the link, and follow us on YouTube. And we'll be bringing, we want the nation to be a good place for something. And we'll believe that this is a good one, and we'll still live. We're still on the topic, violence. In this same program, Save a Life, it saved somebody today. So, I want to talk on what of domestic violence. There are a lot of things, domestic violence. And poverty contributes, because this generation in the that says is ego for that are not said from all over the universe. We may integrity, good name, and we say a child is this generation human being for ritual. This generation that conscience from I get money, my people will follow me. This generation do not value humanity. That is why you see them, they can do anything for the sake of money. And when the money is not there, you see, is it that maybe the man married somebody who is not compatible with her, that believes that money is everything, or the woman married a man who believes that money is everything, and when he's not getting the money, he lashes the anger on the woman. And you see, some women, out of greed, as in, I am trying to bring in that greed also is part of the causes of domestic violence. Somebody got married all because she believes that when I get married, I will have everything this guy has. You just went into that marriage not because you love the guy, not because you want to build together, not because you want to, touch his life or impart his life, but you got married to him because you want to, inherit his wealth, take over his property. And when you got there and you found out that life is far much beyond that, you see the woman will start to misbehave because of her disappointment. Then another thing that causes domestic violence is hearsay. Hearsay. I saw your husband so place. I saw your wife so place. And this is your wife. This is your husband. Can't you call the person and two of you talk about it? Honey, this person say he saw you so place. Is it true? And you disgrace the person that is putting asunder in your home. Okay? And that is it. Some causes of domestic violence, I would say it's hereditary, because you see somebody that the father was beating the mother, the grandfather was beating the wife, the great-grandfather was, and you went to get married, and you say you can change him. You cannot change a full-fledged man. You cannot change a full-grown man. You cannot. Are you God? So those traits you feel that you cannot condone, when you see them in your dating, in your relationship time, you just trash it and wait for the right person. We must not, because your mates are married, you just rush into it and you want miracle to happen overnight. He's a smoker, you don't like smokers, you rush in to go and marry him because your mates are getting married and you want him to stop smoking overnight. It's not possible. It's not possible. When I talk about the aspect of greed, he borrowed car, borrowed everything and came to flash it on your face. You don't want to dig deep because he's spoiling you with few borrowed cash he borrowed just to woo you. And all of a sudden you got in there and you find out that this is a fake man and you start to nag, he will beat the stupid out of you. So that's it. These are things that causes this domestic violence. You're not confident in yourself. You're not contented. You're not contented. You went out, you saw somebody wearing, maybe the person is wearing gold and you came back. You want to force your husband to buy you gold. You don't have your own life. You now must emulate somebody else that is living his own life. Do you know if the person's achievements all over, whatever, all the things the person has achieved in life, no impartation to the next person or anybody, is just that gold that will waste away when the person dies. There are people that exist. They have never lifted a finger to help anybody around them. But they can wear all manner of gold, diamond, jewelries, what name it. They can wear the most expensive clothes and all of that. And you get married, you want a man to, start spending on something he never budgeted. When you were single, you were not even thinking of buying all those things. You were not spending that way. And all of a sudden, you woke up, you want a man to start doing it by force. Even when you know he's a simple dresser when he came for you. So these are things that causes domestic violence. Just someone like me that know I'm always on simple wears. And I get married tomorrow, I want to start wearing beads and all, start wearing all man, because I feel some dressing are heavy for me. But because I'm married and I will start seeing somebody else and I decide to change, it's not possible. Why don't you remain that simple you are? Just dress neat and dress the way you want to be addressed. You mustn't dress like okeke. Okeke. These are things that bring trouble in the house. You know your husband is a barrow pusher. And others are sending somebody that is working with NNPC, sending his child to Pinecrest or whatever, where they pay millions. And you want to force your husband who doesn't have that barely fit to send your child to that same school. No, now. These days, nobody wants to send his or her child to government school. Is there anything wrong with our government school? I attended government school in my primary school. And in my secondary school, I still went to a federal government girls' college. Today, some of them that went to those private, that went to the private, they can't even write their names. Some schools have decided to give 20 awards to a classroom because they want every child to receive an award and please their parents, even when the child is an olodo. Because that nagging that the woman is nagging at home with the husband, she will still come to the school and nag why her child is not given an award. These are the kind of parents we have today. And if such parents are the people that are training their child, I am crying and I am bleeding. What will become of the future after now? Because true love is lacking, that you're spoiling your child with a lot of gifts or whatever she asks you and all of that. That's not training. And that's not love. So these are things that causes domestic violence. Upbringing is another thing. Upbringing, when you don't bring your child well, you believe that the girl child should do everything. In my house, my mom will beat you. If it means breaking your hand, you should break your hand and tell you that the job is not meant for the girl child alone. Everybody have their duty. That was how we were brought up. Everybody have their duty. Till today, my elder brother still cook. Even as a married man. Even as a married man, everybody cooks well because once you finish secondary school, you're bound to enter kitchen. Be you male, be you female. So what am I saying in the sense? The upbringing is one of the paramount things that will help us. When you raise a girl child and say, you don't raise your voice on your husband, you don't raise your voice on the next person, you don't raise your voice. When I tell people that why we raise our voice is because we cannot hear each other. Our hearts, if our hearts are far apart from each other, I'm talking with you and your heart is already hating me, it starts to withdraw away from me. And that is when you will see us shout, trying to get each other's attention. Some people that know me very well know that when I start talking to you and it results to shouting, I know that this thing won't work because our heart has already separated from each other. That is why when you're answering those love calls, you'll be murmuring and the person will still hear you because your hearts are together. But when the hearts separate, that is when you now say, you're not hearing me because the hearts are separated. Even you can't even hear each other. You're far apart from each other. So another thing I want us, when I start saying a lot of things that cause domestic violence, there are many. Even churches now are one of the things that causes the domestic violence. Pastor, prophesy for me, prophesy. See, let's stop all those prophecies. Is your husband that is killing you? Is your wife that is killing you? And all of this. Why not tell the person to give your life to Christ and be close to God? If there's anything God needs to reveal to the person, he doesn't need to come to you. He will go and tell it to the person direct, because the person is at peace with God. I know you're shocked I'm saying this, but that's the truth. That's the truth. A woman came for you to pray for her or whatever. You start telling her how her husband is not her husband. They're married, for Christ's sake. These people are wedded in church. If God wanted to tell them they're not meant to be, he should have told them before they get married. So we even carry somebody's wife and marry and say, God, I don't understand. And the man will come back and see the wife as devil. The wife come back and see the woman as devil. And these things keep happening. And nobody's saying anything about it. It's not just affecting that family, but it's affecting all of us. So the next thing I want to talk to us again is there any effect of this thing to us? That's why I say it's not affecting only the family. It boils down to the society. That is why we have those people killing us. That is why somebody can raise a machete and butcher somebody without the conscience breaking, feeling it. It starts with domestic violence. There's nobody carrying a gun. There's nobody carrying machete to kill somebody that was not raised in a wrong way. Some of these people are people that were neglected in the street, and somebody took that opportunity to empower them with the wrong weapon, and they start to kill people. Some of the people you see that rob and all, when you check their beginning, when you check their foundation, you will see a lot of wrongs that were written all over them that is making them to do what they do without even checking the outcome of it. These are results of domestic violence. Some will grow and take the revenge on the man that will marry them. And they will say, because of the way my father treated my mother. They will not become a thorn on somebody else's son. They will not become a thorn. There are people that chat me in boss and they will tell me I hate women. There are people that their mindset is that every woman is a nag. There are people, when I see people from divorced homes, it tells on them. Both the boy child and the girl child. Some of them are hostile. Some of them are insensitive. They can do anything to you without feeling it because they were brought up in hate. So these are the effects that you just start to see in the society. Watch them in the classroom. By the time you stay with children and watch the way they react and all of that, you can easily say that this one is coming from an abused home or a violent home because of the way they act. But if you see a child that is brought up in love, care, and harmony in the home, you don't need to be told because everything about them will show love. You bring school fees for children to understand. You're collecting the school fees. Don't know you should tell your children, go and thank your daddy. He has brought you that brought it. It is, well, I don't know. I knew my mom was always telling us, have you told your father about your school fees? So you don't need to be told that it's your father that is paying your school fees, even when you know that sometimes it's your mother. But this time around, there is even competition between husband and wife. What are we competing for? Gịnị ka a na-azọ biko nu? Some people, okay, somebody was telling a story how a man started a business for the wife. He married you, started a business for you. The business is doing well. You don't feed the family from that money. You don't clothe yourself from that money. You don't pay the bills from that money. Nothing goes out from that money. And the business, I ask you for 1 million naira. You have this money in quantums. And you went to your mother, who could not start business for you, to go and ask her if you should lend your husband. She said, borrow. The man said, borrow. If you went to go and ask your mother, if you can borrow your own husband, 1 million naira. This is the man that started this business for you. Is your husband or your grave, your burial ground, now in compound in there. Now you born 3 children, 3 boys for him. So no leave, no transfer. And your mother said what? Don't give. And you watch your husband in shame go from house to house, from one friend to the other, begging for what you have. What a failed wife you are. When I heard this, I couldn't wrap it around my head. If this man lock up and say, this woman, no clothes for you, no feeding for you. In fact, I'm getting a nanny or a cook for my children. And in fact, I am relocating. What will you do? By the time you spend all your money, man, ego nwanyị enwere isi. My adage says, nego nwanyị enwere isi. By the time you spend that money, even your family that told you not to borrow him will help you to tear that money into pieces. So this is little things, you know. It's only somebody. Imagine the mindset of the mother to tell the child not to give the husband money. What kind of mother is that? This is a tip from the things that come to my inbox. This is small compared to the things that comes to my inbox. I've seen a man, he's a teacher in school. We battled that case for years before the woman decided that she will go. He's a teacher in school. He doesn't pay house rent. He doesn't feed the family. He doesn't clothe the children. He doesn't bring money for the wife. But every Friday, he will come to the wife's shop, break her safe, collect the money, and go and cruise. What kind of future is such a man building? You will go out, bring a woman inside your matrimonial house and lock your wife and children in the next room that she's paying for. A house that she's paying, flat that she's paying for. And even when she's covering your shame and all of that, you're still tearing your shames apart. We find it in men, we find it in women. These are badly raised people. And by the time they continue doing that, and the children are watching. They go to school and roll it out. Because it's a movie. Some children that you see that they indulge in sexual intercourse, it's not because they watch it in film, because they watch their parents do it. So whatever you see them, whatever they see you do, they are watching you and they will replicate that in times 10 because they are your children. Some people will say, you're a child rights activist. In fact, you're like your father. Yes, he gave birth to me. My father was a strong man. And he gave birth to me. But I thank God that I had to build love in my own, that I just want to see people love. My dad was fighting for people even till his old age. And I grew up to see myself fighting for the voiceless. So there are some things that runs in the blood. So if somebody is an abuser or others, it could still be something that runs in the blood, and it still affects us. It still affects us. You see, they will tell you that the grandmother fought in the market. the child will grow up and come and fight in the market as well. Some people, okay, look at how deteriorated the society has been. Is it Tiwa Abi waiting? Two full-grown celebrities, public figure, were lambasting and saying some foul words and dirty language, gutter languages on the media, abusing each other, quarreling openly. And a same person is praising them that her voice is tush. They are painty for your mama. You know, that's gutter language, that's gutter attitude, that's gutter lifestyle. What happened to being silent? What happens to taking a walk when the person goes, you come back? There are some things people send me to just trigger me to quarrel with them, and both online or whatsoever. I'll just, my highest one is, don't try that trash again. And if you want, pull the roof. I don't care. I will not talk to you. And that is it. That is it. We should learn to, you know, if we're models, let's be models. Those ladies that were being vulgar on the media, they were supposed to be models. They were supposed to live an exemplary life. And people say her voice is tush for the insult. And some say, with this voice, she should insult me the more. What? Guy, use the coerced voice and be peaceful with me. I'm okay with it. So please, we need to change our mindsets that love should rule and love should be the key to whatever we're doing. If we can build love, domestic violence will go. Let's the reason for marrying a man, the reason for getting into a family, not be because of financial whatsoever. Let it not be because of this guy is handsome and all of that. Let it go beyond that. If this guy have an accident and lose his beauty and all of that, can I still be with him? If this guy becomes a pauper today, is there anything that can make me be with him? So when you look beyond physical appearance, beyond his wealth, and look for the deposit that makes him whom he is, I tell you that all this domestic violence and so on, they will be curbed and will live in a sane environment. And even this Boko Haram, herdsmen, yes, you know, all those thing that is affecting us now, they will stop, because a country that is building so much love, I don't think there will be much violence again. And you will see some people will even voluntarily surrender their ammunition and, you know, want to join the train for love. I am still your number one love giver, Amarachi Umogochukwu, the founder of Efficient Grace for the Hopeless Foundation. I am talking to you from Good Governance Radio. You can still follow us on www.ggr.org.com. I am here for you, and where our topic remains, Oh Salad, and the topic remains domestic violence. That program is still Oh Salad, and we're still on it. I want to take a break, and I'll come back to you in a few seconds. Thank you.
You are listening to GGR, Good Governance Radio. Stay with us.
Yes, welcome back. I'm still your number one love giver, Amarachi Umogochukwu, the founder of Efficient Grace for the Hopeless Foundation. I am talking to you live from Good Governance Radio, www.ggr.org.com. Have you followed us on our websites? Have you joined us on YouTube? Have you liked our page? Please copy the link, share it. Invite your friends. Please, let's get this moving, and we'll get better, and we'll get better and better and better for a better Nigeria. So we're still on the topic domestic violence through O Salad program. That is Operation Save a Life a Day. Operation Save a Life a Day. We'll keep saving lives. We will not stop. So today we will just finish about the causes of domestic violence and the effects of domestic violence both on the family, the society, and children. That's it. So I want to tell us that is there I wanted to ask if there is any punishment for domestic violence, but I don't need to ask that question because I've always been on domestic violence cases, and I know there are laws that protect the women and even the men. You know, nobody is a monopoly of trouble. You know, there is punishment that that follows domestic violence. But the problem that we have is that when it is husband and wife case, you will see the woman saying, please, people should leave my husband for me. You people want to kill my husband for me. You see that kind of a thing. Some people will say, like the one that killed her brother's daughter in Onisha. That was last year. And when the case was going on, they decided to settle with 500,000 naira. And I was like, wow. But Harrison Gwamnishu said, never. This is murder and it should be taken up. And the case was taken up, you know, and they were like, it's a family matter. We told them, no, phone there. And the children are for government, not just because you're the biological parent. You can't just kill a child. Do you know what it means to beat a child to death? Ha! You ain't human. You beat a child. She's crying, shouting till you killed her. And you say 500,000? Well, the woman is she's in the prison at Onisha. She's there cooling off for now until her case is finished. And the other one that came up this year, a man that was about last 3 weeks, a man that beat her child and almost killed the child. He thought the child was dead. He now hid the child in the carton until neighbors now, you know, broke the door and came in and found the child in the carton. But thank God the child is alive. The child survived it. And that man is going in for that crime. It's a crime. To beat somebody, it can be harassment, it can be assault. You know, there are punishments for it. There are ones that are 2 years imprisonment. There are ones that are 14 years imprisonment. It depends on the level of the offense. There are ones that there are domestic violence cases that can lead you to life imprisonment. There are ones that can be sentenced to death, like the one that the woman that deliberately murdered the husband. So these are things. So there is no gain in being violent. There is no gain in hate. There is no gain in trouble. As we are in this country, everybody are entitled to their opinion, to their way of life. But don't be violent. That's why today is Democracy Day. I remember I will still talk about today is Democracy Day. So we should be able to allow the next person to air his view or her view. Not just airing. Let that freedom, both the freedom of speech and freedom of, you know, let's learn to take responsibility of our action and allow the next person to take responsibility of his or her action without being violent. Without being violent, we can achieve all this. So what am I saying? There is punishment to every crime we commit. I remember the person that slapped me when my dad was still alive, and they took up the issue and all of that, and they were about, you know, taking, that was in area command in Nsukka and all of that. And You see the person begging, you know you did bad thing, and you want to beg. Beg for what? That time you have those hates, because it's only hate that will make you to want to hit somebody. It's only hate that will make you to think of how to hit somebody. It's only hate that will make you to tell somebody words that will torment that person. I'm not just talking of the physical. Do you know there are words? I remember I told somebody something, and the person told me, the guy cried. He said that this word I told him pained him so badly that he withdrew from me. And when he said that, I remember I just jokingly said that, and the words I wasn't even referring to him. So because of what he's going through, he felt I was referring to him, and he took it personal. When I noticed that the thing really hurt him, I was so sober. I begged, I pleaded, I apologized, and I tried to make amends. Even though he did not understand that that words wasn't meant for him, I didn't know what he was thinking. So it's only hate that will make you to want to see somebody in that state of anguish, pain, withdrawal, and incompetent of himself because of what you or I may have told the person. I think emotional abuse is even worse than physical abuse, because that one is the one that mostly leads to suicide. Okay, look at that small child that had dwarfism, that they were insulting in school and bullying in school. He said he wants to kill himself. I remember the other child that was sobbing so vigorously, and the father said, what is it? What is it? He said, I want to die. I don't want to live again. That they bullied her in school. So it's only hate that will make somebody to think of how to do the next person bad thing, and just know there is punishment to every abuse you meet on somebody. There is punishment. But emotional abuse, even in abroad, there's a case we're handling now. The man doesn't want to beat the wife physically, but he tortured her emotionally. That was when I found out that even emotional abuse in the US has a punishment. I never knew it has a punishment that accompanies it. And the man was so scared to his bone marrows to go to court. But thank God we settled amicably. All I pray and I work for is for peace. I am not there to divide. I always pray for peace and I work for peace, because I want to prove that name I answer, the love giver. So before I go, I want us to remember that today is Democracy Day. Democracy. Which one? Democracy Day. So we should be able to, allow one to air his or her view on whatever that is going on in our country. The same thing goes to families, associations, offices. Allow them to air their views so they'll feel belonging, so that there'll be no trouble. There'll be no trouble. I have a friend that will always tell me, no troubles, no trouble. He's a pastor. You said no troubles. So democracy was what enabled us to, have a peaceful atmosphere, peaceful environment, and have all-round peace in our nation. So let's allow everyone to voice out and be at peace with one another. And let's learn to use today, that is Democracy Day, to, show love and to, propagate the gospel of peace and love. So thank you. You're still listening to me from Good Governance Radio, www.ggr.org.com. And I'm still your number one love giver, Amarachi Umogochukwu, the founder of Efficient Grace for the Hopeless Foundation. You know what? By Wednesday, which is the Day of African Child, the day that children were shot in masses in Soweto, that is the Day of African Child. We'll be coming to you with a big fish, very big fish, and we will be live here on the station at 2 p.m. Stay tuned till that time. I will be leaving you now, and I will say bye-bye to you. Copy the link, share the link, call your friends, tell them about Efficient Grace, and we'll see you again on Wednesday this week. Thank you very much. Bye for now.
You are listening to GGR, Good Governance Radio. Stay